For first place in the National League East as the Marlins come to town for the first time this year. Game time temperature 60 degrees, but a stiff wind blowing out toward right field from the left field foul pole at about 18 miles an hour. Here's Freddie Gonzalez's starting lineup tonight with that speedster at the top, Bonifacio, followed by rookie catcher John Baker. Hanley Ramirez already second in the league in RBIs with 9 so far in the year. Will be followed by Ross Glode, Dan Uggla, and local product Jeremy Hermida. Bottom third of the order, rookie Cameron Maben. Alfredo Amezaga off the disabled list will be in right field, and Chris Volstad is the pitcher. And they will face Javier Vasquez, who makes his second start for Atlanta. Lifetime 6-5 against these Marlins, but hasn't pitched against them since 2005, and his last win against them was 2003, so it's been a while. Had a good spring, both with the Braves. He went 2-1, and with the Puerto Rican team in the WBC, he was 2-0 with a 0.96 ERA. Here's the defense behind Vasquez tonight. In the outfield, left to right, the return of Garrett Anderson out in left field. Jordan Schaefer in center, Frank Kura in right. Around the horn, third to first, Jones, Escobar, Johnson, and Kochman. And as usual, Brian McCann behind the plate. The umpires for this series, beginning tonight behind the plate, will be Doug Eddings. At first base, Hunter Wendelstedt. The crew chief is at second base, Dana DeMuth. And Kerwin Danley umpires at third. The Marlins last year lost 10 of the 18 games played between these two teams. Atlanta was 6-3 against the Fish here in this ballpark. And lifetime, the Marlins have not had a lot of fun here at Turner Field. 35-65 in the history of the Marlins here in this ballpark.
That will not make Freddie Gonzalez smile. But he is smiling because he's back home here in Atlanta on a chilly night. And if you want to beat the Fish, got to get Bonifacio out, and that'll be the job of Javi Vasquez as the Braves pinch in at the corners. And Bonifacio looks at a quick strike. Bonifacio came over from the Washington Nationals. Originally was with the Arizona Diamondbacks organization. Mike Rizzo drafted this kid, signed this kid, then acquired him in Washington. Then Jim Bowden traded him to the Marlins. And as Joe mentioned, all Bonifacio has done is hit everybody. 14 for 28 at the plate to start this year for Freddie Gonzalez's club. 3
infield hits, 2 bunt singles. That's why the corners have to play in for him until he gets 2 strikes. Just another offensive weapon for this ball club.
Butch can't steal first base. He's down on 3 pitches. 1 up, 1 down. Good start for Vasquez.
91 on that fastball. If you've not seen Javi pitch, he features all the pitches: fastball, curveball, slider, change. He'll throw a cut fastball in on the left-hander's hands. Generally speaking, has good control. And in that start in Philadelphia, 6 strong innings, a quality start, gave up 3 runs, did walk 4 that day, but struck out 5.
And he'll face Marlin catcher John Baker, who's off to a 3-0-8 start. Florida really likes its catching tandem of Baker and Ronnie Paulino, whom they acquired late in spring training.
That was a good pickup. With Paulino out there, they were able to grab him as not necessarily a backup, but a platoon guy with Baker.
Baker debuted last year, hit 5 homers, drove in 32 men. 61 games, almost hit 300 for them.
And you know what? That was a surprise because his reputation was that of a real solid catcher and not so much an offensive player.
2 balls and a strike. Well, offense has not been a problem for this Florida team. They have a dynamic attack. They have speed. They have power. And even with Mike Jacobs playing now in Kansas City, they can still hit the ball out of the ballpark. Florida's hit 8 home runs in their first 6 games this year. Marlins have scored 37 times in their first 6 games.
They had 208 homers last year as a team, and that was a franchise record.
Just off the corner, Doug Eddings behind the plate, full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. And that's surprising because that's not an easy place to hit it out, Dolphin Stadium in Miami.
No, got to hit it right down the lines if you're going to hit it out. Right field's a pretty good poke to straightaway right. But as you can see, they don't mess around. They come up swinging.
So Baker up now. Hanley Ramirez, an MVP candidate. Waiting next. With bases clear and one out. And Vasquez goes up with a high fastball again. 2 up, 2 swinging strikeouts down.
You don't have to throw 95 to get swings and misses at the letters, but it's got to be set up by other pitches. And with that curveball of his that he just missed with trying to go to the back door on it, it's a very effective letter high, and Baker couldn't catch up.
Well, what do you think the over-under for RBIs for Hanley Ramirez hitting third will be for the Marlins this year?
Should be pretty good. It should be 110, I would guess.
He drove in 67 out of the leadoff spot. He drove himself in 33 times with that many home runs. They would hit 301. Couple of home runs, 9 RBIs. That's second in the league for the Marlins shortstop. And Vasquez throwing nothing but strikes.
As good as Ramirez is at the plate, we talked about their defense. That's one area of his game he can improve on. He made over 20 errors at shortstop last year, and he's a better athlete than that. They need he and Uggla to tighten it up the middle.
Oh, just off the plate. Did miss by much.
Where was that one? Just a skosh off.
A skosh?
It's about that much.
How much more or less is that than a smidgen?
It's actually a little more than a smidgen. And a smidge is even smaller than that.
And a midge is even smaller than the smidge?
Mm-hmm.
All right. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Playable in right for Francoeur. The wind's got a hold of that and carries to the fence. Wind is blowing from left to right. Ramirez gave it a ride, but Vasquez a perfect first at home at Turner Field.
First, that baby's almost as cute as Haugalin. For the Braves, here's their batting order. Kelly Johnson, Yunel Escobar, Chipper Jones. Brian McCann's off to a good start against right-handed pitchers. Garrett Anderson back in their batting fifth, followed by Jeff Francoeur, then Kochman, Schaefer, and Vasquez. They'll be going against a guy who is a really good-looking young pitcher. Just 22 years old, Chris Volstad, 6'8", 225 out of Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. First-round pick back in 05 for Florida. Last year with the big club, 6-4, a 2.88 ERA. He's already made a start this year, and that came against the Washington Nationals. He walked 4 in 5 innings, but struck out 7. He's going to strike out a bunch of guys, but he might also walk you, Chip.
1 ball, 1 strike. Hammered foul off the bat of Kelly Johnson. You, as a former major league hitter, probably came from an era where hitters never liked to compliment pitchers. But Chipper Jones gave Mr. Volstad a very hefty compliment with us before the game tonight.
Certainly did.
And he goes up high
at 92. Chipper was talking about Josh Johnson and complimenting him for his work against the Mets on Sunday. And I said something about him throwing a heavy ball, and he goes, well, what about this guy tonight? He said, you stand 60 feet 6 inches from this guy, and he's so tall and he throws downhill. He's got a very heavy sinking fastball too.
And with that in mind, Volstad, who made the jump from Double-A to the big leagues last year in 175 professional innings last season, gave up 3 home runs all year, and he gets another ball on the ground. Ramirez loads up, and quickly 2 men are out for the aforementioned Chipper Jones.
And that's not unusual for Unnell. First pitch swinging. Here's the defense backing up Mr. Volstad tonight. Jeremy Hermida out of Wheeler High School here in Atlanta, out in Marietta actually. Maven in center. Meziga in right. Bonifacio, Ramirez, Uggla, and Glode third to first, and John Baker is the catcher.
And Chipper rolls to Dan Uggla. The Marlins have had defensive troubles. They've made 6 errors so far this year. Chipper nearly beat that play out, but Volstad has a very easy 6-pitch bottom half of the first.
Healthcare provider of the Atlanta Braves. Visit PiedmontHospital.org. Tom Glavine remains on the DL. He had his shoulder checked out by Dr. Andrews today. The rotator cuff was inflamed, and Dr. Andrews suggested he take a couple more weeks off before he resumes throwing. Tim Hudson still working and rehabbing on his elbow. Braves are hoping to have him back by August. And David Ross is actually close to coming back from the DL. He's going to play in a couple of rehab stints the next couple of days and will be eligible to come off the disabled list on Thursday.
David's up in Rome tonight. And if we get an update on his progress, we'll pass that along to you. So we're looking forward to seeing David Ross back with the big league club, as Ross Glode, a former Marlin draft pick, finally back with the Marlins organization and in for an injured Jorge Cantu at first base tonight.
This guy's got some good major league numbers, about a 275, 280 career hitter. He's bounced around with a lot of different ball clubs. What another good offensive player.
And of all the Marlins starters, has the most experience against Vasquez. Again, Glode played last year in Kansas City. Javi Vasquez pitched for the White Sox, both of them AL Central opponents.
Yeah, and this guy went 10 for 23 in his career, has gone 10 for 23 against Javi.
But another one of those guys for this Florida club that can play a lot of different places. You look at their roster, Bonifacio can play everywhere. Ramirez can play a couple of spots probably. Glode certainly can. Hermida can play everywhere. Amezaga can play everywhere. Vasquez tips and underhands to first. Nice play.
Good recovery. Off the glove, redirected it. Kind of took Kelly out of the play because he deadened it. But able to pick it up and make a nice toss.
But what a nice luxury that is for Freddie Gonzalez. All those different interchangeable parts, both at the plate and defensively.
Good athletes. We like having a lot of different possibilities and opportunities to play guys in different places. I'm not sure Dan Uggla fits that bill. He's a second baseman, period.
And sometimes when he hits it a mile, it comes with an exclamation point. Uggla's got big time power, but he also strikes out a lot.
Well, Hal Galima looked up some numbers for us. We've been doing some of this here early in the season about how guys fare against the better pitchers. Top 10 in different categories. And Uggla really struggled against those guys. For example, against the pitchers who were top 10 in wins, he hit 125 last year, no RBIs. Top 10 in ERA, you see an 0.83 average with 1 RBI. And how about the top 10 in strikeouts? He was 2 for 47 against those guys and no RBIs.
That's amazing for an all-star.
The term bottom feeder, does that come around?
Yeah, I would think so. Well, his goal this year is to improve on all of those numbers. Uggla said in spring training his goal for the 09 season, score 100 and knock in 100. He'll have to make a lot more consistent contact against the tougher pitchers if he's going to accomplish that. Just off the plate to even the count at 2-2.
Well, if you look at his numbers for the year, and they were impressive, 32 homers, 92 RBIs. That alone won him the arbitration case he had with the Florida Marlins. Oh, baby, that was a good pitch. Breaking ball had him buckling his knees to get out of the way. It just didn't quite get to the inside corner.
Full count with 1 out. Base is clear for Uggla.
Here's something, though, that you raise your eyebrows at. The last 3 years, 154 games, 159 games, 146 games for Uggla. 600 plate appearances all 3 years. 27 homers, 31 homers, 32 homers, and yet has not driven in 100 runs in any one season yet.
And he's hitting the middle of the order, too.
Yeah. So he's hitting homers, but he's not hitting for a high enough average to pick up RBIs other times.
3 strikeouts for Javi Vasquez. 2 up and 2 men down.
Little cutter, a little bit coming back to the outside corner. Uggla out in front of it.
8th time Uggla has struck out in the first 7 games this year. Get used to that, Florida fans. Here's Jeremy Hermida. Hermida's moved from right to left this year for Florida. Talking with Freddie Gonzalez, Joe, about that. He feels that Hermida is a better left fielder in their home ballpark because of the smaller dimensions. He's a better thrower from the shallow porch in left. Can limit base runners an extra 90 feet a time or two. It's the kind of thing that doesn't show up in a box score but can help you win games, he said.
Well, and that's kind of a tricky left field. It's not a whole lot unlike trying to play the Green Monster in Boston. You don't automatically put your worst outfielder in left field in Boston because of how difficult that wall is to play. But Jeremy needs to stay healthy. He did last year finally put together a pretty solid season in terms of games played. He played in 142, but had battled injuries the couple of years before that. 17 homers, 61 RBIs. But I think he's a better hitter than a 250 hitter, which is what he was last year, 249.
Looping line drive into shallow right, and that's the first hit of the ball game. So Hermida back here in Atlanta. First base runner aboard with 2 outs in front of Cameron Maybin. So Vasquez will go to the stretch, and we'll get our first look at a very talented young man who came over from the Tigers in the Dontrelle Willis Miguel Cabrera deal, and they think Cameron Maybin is going to be the real deal as he progresses, like Jordan Schaefer of the Braves, and figures things out at the major league level.
Yeah, speaking of good athletes.
Love the way he wears his uniform, like you're supposed to, showing some stirrup. Makes you look faster, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. He got called up for a few games at the end of last season and really impressed. Games, he was 16 for 32. That's opening some eyes with your new club.
How big is that experience in September for a young player?
I think what it does more than anything else, it acclimates you to the ongoings in a major league clubhouse and the travel and things like that, so that it's not all a complete surprise to you come April.
Check the swing, did not go, even count now. 1-1. I think that point could be made about Jordan Schaefer as you see Maybin.
Yeah, he did. He went.
Call more strikes. I agree with you. Unless our guys are up, of course. 1 ball, 1 strike. But look at Jordan Schaefer, a much different demeanor for the Braves in spring training this year as opposed to last, and I think it's helped him. And now some 2-out trouble with Amezaga coming up for his first at bat of the year.
Well, Freddie Gonzalez kind of on the same page with Bobby Cox in terms of their young center fielders. Jordan Schaefer is batting 8th and will for the foreseeable future. And for Freddie Gonzalez, his center fielder Maybin batting 7th, keeping him down in the order, trying to take a little pressure off of them offensively.
I like this guy, Alfredo Amezaga. He's a pest. Plays everywhere, switch hits, puts the ball in play, has good speed, surprising pop. And tonight playing right field for Florida.
In his first game. Been on the disabled list with a bad knee and able to go.
Marlins this year hitting .344 as a team with runners in scoring position. A shot for Amezaga to improve on that in the second inning. But he too down 2 strikes now.
Well, Javi's doing a good job of throwing strikes, and base runners a result of hits that have come with 2 outs. Hasn't gone to any. I think he went to 1 3-ball count in the first inning, but he's certainly around the plate and making them swing the bat. No walks.
Bobby Cox managing against his former protege Freddie Gonzalez. For the first time in 09, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Talked about the need for some durable pitchers given all the injuries last year, and Javi Vasquez and Derek Lowe certainly fit that bill. In fact, the only active pitchers that have never been on the disabled list, there are 3 of them right now, and 2 of them pitch for Atlanta, Derek Lowe and Javier Vasquez. The other is Livan Hernandez. 11 years.
And boy, did Livan look good for the Mets against the Marlins in their just concluded series. And your point well taken. Florida got all these kids up in September, got them all back from injury, and Bobby Cox said of this Florida staff they might have had the best pitching in the division the entire month of September once Volstad and Johnson and Sanchez all came back in rotation for their pitching coach Mark Wiley.
Yeah, they're solid. They've got some questions in the bullpen. I think they're trying to sort through spots and where guys are going to eventually be in the bullpen. And they may still be experimenting by the next time we see Florida. But they've got some good arms.
A little pop that will reach the seat. Would it be safe to say that the Marlins and Braves are more similar than they are dissimilar at this point?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a lot of things to like about both sides. And the way they're going about their business in the first week reflects the fact that they're so much alike. One of the problems for Florida was that they thought that Matt Lidstrom would be their closer. Strong arm, throws in the upper 90s, and then he came up with a sore arm in the World Baseball Classic pitching for the U.S. team.
Ground ball hit towards second. Kelly's got that. Vasquez out of some second inning trouble. 40 pitches for Javi in the first 2 frames as we remain scoreless.
Beautiful high definition. Peachtree TV in HD can be found on Comcast Channel 802, Charter Channel 707, and DirecTV Channel 17. Check your local listings for other cable systems. The Braves play here on Peachtree TV in HD.
Thanks, JJ. Folks out on the Chop House balcony out there enjoying a nice cold Budweiser tonight. Got a little wind in their face, but a little something to make them comfortable.
I like the way they think. Bottom second, no score. Middle of the order.
Some nachos and Bud Light.
If you're going to have nachos, why go Bud Light? It kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, I guess. Yeah, you make a good point. It's like the Diet Coke thing.
Brian McCann lays down a bunt. And can't beat it out. Bobby's going to come argue this with Hunter Wendelstedt.
He may have a good beef, too. Brilliant play by Emilio Bonifacio, who came up to the big leagues as a second baseman. He's playing out of position here, but Freddie Gonzalez wants his best defensive players on the field, even if Bonifacio has got to learn on the job playing third base. Good idea by Brian McCann with a big shift on. Let's see how close it was. Safe. Like his foot was on the bag, we could still see the ball in the air.
So Bonifacio gets the benefit of that close call. McCann retired. And a quick strike to Garrett Anderson, who's back in the starting lineup for the Braves. Injured his calf Wednesday, has been able to pinch hit a couple of times. And now starts for the first time against Volstad. This, by the way, Garrett's 8,000th major league at bat. Nice round number. And the count 1-2.
I enjoy watching him hit in the cage. Kind of takes turns with the different spots in the outfield, and then picks out 4 or 5 seats in the bleachers and wears them out too.
Volstad misses up and in now with a 2-2 pitch. Lofted foul, and Garrett stays alive.
This guy Volstad's got a very high ceiling, as they say. 92, 93 fastball. Good hard slider. That's the changeup. That's kind of a work in progress. But he's going to be a good one.
Popped up. Hanley Ramirez on the first base side of second base makes that play for the second out.
Know what time it is, Chip? Time for the know-how question of the game, built by the Home Depot.
Yeah, baby.
If you have a question, send us an email, and if chosen, we'll answer it later in the game. Send your email to braves@peachtreetv.com. Please tell us your name, where you're from, and remember that more savings, more doing. That's the power of Home Depot.
Jeff Francoeur at 240 on the year. Jammed him badly, popped into shallow right, and Amezaga makes the play. Volstad has a very easy frame again. He's thrown 17 pitches in the game's first 2 innings.
Thank you and have a pleasant flight.
Con Air, Friday at 9, Saturday and Sunday at 8 on Peachtree TV.
Chip and Joe back with you in Atlanta. No score after 2 on a chilly night. Hope you're bundled up at home with us tonight as Chris Volstad goes to work and takes a quick strike from Javier Vasquez.
60 degrees at game time, but the wind chill was in the high 40s. I know Pete Van Wieren would want to know the
Yes.
wind chill factor.
Yeah, the feels like temperature is very, very important for Pito, and 2 the count.
Pretty stiff breeze still blowing out of the west, out toward right field.
But as Pete might say, 41's just about right.
For green cans.
Something, or bottles.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Vasquez has his 4th strikeout, takes care of the pitcher. That's a good start. And Bonifacio is coming up. News around baseball today. How about the Nationals? 0-7 on the year. Lasting's Millage demoted to AAA today. No corresponding roster move has been announced by Washington.
Yeah, a bit of a, not a surprise, but just that after 1 week and you're hitting $160 that they would take that kind of measure. But I don't think it had to do totally with his on-the-field performance as much as it was a combination of that and reports that he was missing team meetings. He was late getting to the ballpark opening day. Things like that you're not entitled to anything. You still got to work and earn your place.
And Mike Rizzo, the interim general manager, said, look, we expect our players to perform, and if they don't, we will get people here who will.
That's a definite 180-degree turn in that administration.
Yeah. Jim Bowden, the former general manager, I think for all of his good intent, really hamstrung that Washington franchise. As Bonifacio shoots a single in front of Anderson for a 1-out hit. Big turnaround first, and he'll stop there. And the Nationals, polar opposite this Florida club. Talk about interchangeable parts in Florida. Can't say that about the Washington club. A lot of redundant parts.
Yeah. Bonifacio batting left-hander reminds you a little bit of Juan Castillo. Slap hitter, good speed.
And he's got the green light anytime he wants to go, and a big hole right side for Baker with one man out. I know Brian McCann talked in the offseason about improving his catching and throwing of would-be base stealers. Here's a very strong early test for him.
Yeah, he'll need some help from Vasquez here. He'll need Javi to hold her under close. Change his delivery patterns just to throw his timing off. Throw Bonifacio's timing off. Bonifacio, a little unlike some of the new breed of base stealers, though, that like to really open their shoulders up towards second base, almost where they're showing their number to first base. He's a little more square. Wide stance, though, his lead.
Ball 1, strike 1 to Baker.
If you've got a base stealer and a guy who's certainly a stolen base threat, you like to have a guy batting second that can handle the bat, of course, but who's also a good fastball hitter. Whose chances are good if Bonifacio gets on. The number 2 hitter is going to see a lot of fastballs.
He's going. Hit and run, and he guessed right. Into the left center field gap, and look at Bonifacio. He's around third, and he'll stop there. Boy, did he get from first to third as quickly as we've seen this year. And Baker filled the gap vacated by Escobar, who was covering, and the Marlins have him at the corners with 1 out.
Not only did he get from first to third, but he actually hesitated. He kind of went back to the bag, thinking that Vasquez was going to come to first, and then broke. And a good job of hitting by John Baker, finding the open hole.
So here is one of those RBI chances for Hanley Ramirez. Ramirez struggled at times with runners in scoring position last year. Here's a golden opportunity for him to put the Marlins in front.
Not lately, though. He's 6 for 9 this season.
Hanley Ramirez, the face of this Marlins franchise, one of a handful of their players, maybe the only player that has a long-term contract. He'll be, barring trade, in Marlins colors when they move into their new ballpark in 2012. And maybe a dark horse MVP candidate in the National League. He should have a huge year. Strike to even the count.
I'm not even sure, Chip, I'd put him in that dark horse category.
Well, only because he plays in a small
that's true.
market. That's the only.
That's true. But I mean, he is on everybody's radar now with the way he's playing. And I think when you start talking about MVP candidates, more often than not, people are going to start this year mentioning his name.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Good pitch to get ahead in the count. And by getting ahead in the count, Vasquez, with those good breaking balls, might get Ramirez to go after one a little out of the zone and hit a ground ball that might get Vasquez out of the inning.
Javi's gone up with the fastball with 2 strikes quite a bit in this game. Let's see if that's the game plan with Ramirez. Breaking ball. Ramirez could not check his swing, and he's called out. 2 down.
Didn't have to ask for help. Doug Eddings was the one that was ringing him up on the check swing. There's the curveball, and it was off the plate. Ramirez thought he had stopped his swing, but did not. A good call by Eddings. And the bat went way out there, and then he tried to freeze it a la David Justice.
Didn't work. Here's Glow, and that's in the dirt. McCann's got to be on his toes with a fast man 90 feet away, but with 2 outs. 5 strikeouts for Javier Vasquez. He surrendered 4 hits.
Talk about a change in your plans for a season. You're in spring training with the Kansas City Royals if you're Ross Glode, getting set to make the club and begin your American League Central work. And on April 1st, you get traded to the other league.
Well, for Glode, as you mentioned, who's been with so many different organizations, he's used to change, that's for sure. He's been in the National League before.
See what happens here. 3-0. Got Uggla on deck, but he wouldn't give in here. Good pitch on the corner.
Bases are loaded now for Uggla. First walk of the night for Vasquez. Baker to second. Bonifacio's at third. Now Glode at first.
I know that moves another runner into scoring position, but after you fall behind 3-0, you sure don't want to put it on a tee for Glode. He's too good a hitter. And maybe you can get off to a better start count-wise with Uggla and force him to swing at something you'd rather him try to hit.
Saw 61 pitches for Javier so far, much of that because of the 5 strikeouts. And now Uggla with 2 outs, no place to put him, and he wails away and quickly finds himself in a hole.
Well, what a difference. Other than the first inning, Vasquez having to work so hard up over 60 pitches, and meanwhile Volstad's thrown 2 innings and 17 pitches.
And that's what the Marlins want. Their bullpen still very much a question mark. They want their starters to take it deep too. 0-1 the count. Hot shot into left center field for a 2-out hit. Bonifacio scores. Baker scores. Glode goes from first to third. The walk leads to Uggla and a 2-out hit, and the Marlins are in front 2-0.
Well, it turns out Uggla does come through. That fastball stayed out over the plate, though, and King actually was coming back to him a little bit and just out of the reach of Escobar. And the Marlins strike first.
Nothing picks up the club bigger than a 2-out hit. Uggla with his 7th and 8th run batted in of the year. Here's Hermida. Jeremy singled his first and only time up.
With the good work the Braves have put in with runners in scoring position, they lead the National League hitting with 2 out in that situation, and Florida's third. Oddly enough, the Washington Nationals are second.
One ball, 1 strike. I think a fun stat to follow this Florida club. You know, with the Mets, what their record is when Jose Reyes scores a run. What's the Marlins record going to be when Bonifacio scores a run? On with a bloop single here in the third with 1 out. And once he got on, the Marlins plated their first 2. Anderson, a long run in left along the line, cannot get there. It's in the stands. Kerwin Danley, the third base umpire, over to make sure there was no interference and no play. It's a strike.
I was hoping the wind would blow this one back for Garrett a little more. Right on the railing. And playing in one of his first games ever in this ballpark, still finding the navigational path over there.
Down the left field line again. This one deeper into the seats from Hermida. 1-2.
For Dan Uggla, that's one of those situations we were talking about earlier, though, Chip, his first at bat, where 30 homers and never 100 RBI year. So those are 2-out situations where he's got to come through more, and he did tonight.
That one gets away from McCann. Glode streaks to the plate, throw off target, and in safely is Ross Glode for a 3-0 score. Uggla at second after a Vasquez wild pitch.
Let's see where the pitch went. Brian was set up outside, tried to shift inside, and couldn't keep it in front of him. Take a look at the pitch. Brian was trying to get over there, but that was quite a ways away from the target.
So a 2-2 count with a runner at second now for Hermida. Let's see if McCann and Vasquez go to a new set of signs now. That ball in the dirt. Hermida swings through it. McCann to first, in the inning is over. All that damage came after Volstad struck out. 3 singles, a beautiful hit and run, a walk and a wild pitch. Plates 3 for the Marlins. This year, 3-0 they lead now, bottom of the 3rd inning. Not blasting away with the home runs, but a little ball for Freddie Gonzalez's club as the Braves come up in the 3rd. Fans, time for the AirTran Airways home run inning, where one lucky fan will have the chance to win free airfare for 2 if the Braves hit a homer this inning. Visit PeachTreeTV.com/Braves for official rules and enter for your chance to win. AirTran Airways, go! And I mean go. There's nothing stopping you. Kochman, Schaefer, Vasquez up against Volstad. Stake to that big lead. And all he's done is throw 19 pitches in this game, 13 of them for strikes.
Much better changeup there than we saw earlier.
Yeah, the Marlins have talked about Volstad for the last couple of years. He is going to be a big workhorse in the rotation. Talking with Dave Van Horn, their longtime broadcaster, what scares you about the Marlins, Dave said, for the first time in their last 9 years, they have position players that are ready to come to the big leagues. Matt Dominguez, Mike Stanton, Chris Coughlin, Gabby Sanchez. They lost Logan Morrison, who broke his thumb. That group of 5 position players is on its way in the next couple of years to supplement this very good and inexpensive young starting pitching.
Well, that's good for them from their payroll standpoint, too.
Yeah.
You know, I think about Uggla winning his arbitration case and what he's going to cost the club in the next couple of years. If there's somebody pressing him for a job, they'll be able to make a deal, as they always have, for their veteran players and get quality in return. They have a knack for doing that.
Pop fly, shallow left. Out goes Hanley Ramirez and makes the play. 1 out.
And with 1 out, it's time to take a look at the SunTrust Solid Performers, brought to you by SunTrust. Live solid, bank solid. SunTrust. And tonight's category is team batting average. And the Atlanta Braves are tops in that category in the National League, hitting .300, with the Marlins 3rd in the league. in team batting average.
Jordan Schaefer late on a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. I guess it's safe to say the last week's maybe been the best of his life, huh? Hitting .348 in the major leagues his first week as an everyday player.
Yeah, that's a good start. Take a little bit of the pressure off.
Oh, yeah. 2 home runs, 3 RBIs. Jordan hitting at the bottom of the order, too, which, as you know, is a very difficult thing to do in this National League.
It is and it isn't. It is because you know the pitcher's coming up, and if you got runners on base, you got to widen your strike zone a little bit to try to get those guys in rather than let them pitch around you. But otherwise, it's a perfect place for him. And with the success he's had in the first week, what it's going to allow him to do is realize that this is still baseball. It's on the biggest stage ever, but it's still baseball. The pitcher's still got to throw it over, and he's already proven to himself that he can handle it. So he can settle in, relax, and be the player that he is.
Nasty breaking ball retires him. Second strikeout for Volstad, who's retired 8 consecutive. And folks, that was a bowling ball.
Let's take a look at that ball going down. That is his breaking ball, and a beauty. Dropped it right on the back point of the plate. Not much Jordan could do with that. He's mixing his speeds well, too. He's throwing 92 and then an 83 change, then 92, and a breaking ball.
No balls and a strike to Vasquez, 0 for 3 with a strikeout.
That number Vasquez wears has some history to it. In that, well, you can go back to Steve Avery or some of those greats if you want, but I was thinking more recently Freddie Gonzalez wore that, and then when Brian Jordan rejoined the team, he wanted that number back, and Freddie volunteered it to Brian, and Brian bought him a motorcycle as thanks.
I'd say not a bad way to say thank you. This has been the Air Train Airways home run inning of the game. Make sure you register at PeachTreeTV.com/Braves for your official rules and your chance to win. Braves without a hit in our
There's the truck. Here's the question. Who led the 2003 World Champion Marlins in saves during the regular season? Who was the closer for that World Championship team back in 2003? I'll have the answer for you in the bottom of the 4th.
I think I know.
Who do you think?
His initials are UU.
You are incorrect.
Maben lays down a bunt, and it's a good one. Vasquez off his back foot and in time. Got it. This one does not draw an argument from Andy Fox at first. Hunter Wendelstedt, a couple of close calls at first base. Marlins have a man erased. Brian McCann was erased.
Great play here by Javi, who got that foot planted before he ever picked the ball up. And I think Cameron Maben might have been safe too. Something else here, Kochman charged, then went back to the bag and got there just in time to get the baseball. But I think both the bunters tonight should have been 2 for 2. So they all even out, don't they?
I was just going to say, you know, when you hear us say they even out at the end of the year, they even out sometimes in the first 4 innings. Maben retired. Here's a Meziga. So it's not Urbina?
It is not Ugi Urbina. But that's a good choice. But you are so wrong.
Meziga rolled out to second his first time up.
Vasquez needs a quick inning.
That was his 72nd pitch of the night. Two. Last year, Meziga played center, short, third, and second. Tonight, playing right field. He's played 7 positions in his career. He's never been part of a major league battery. 2 out. Never pitched, never caught. And he's 0 for 2.
Vasquez trails 3-0, but that was his 7th strikeout already, and he was 4th in the American League in strikeouts last year with 200. Good tailing fastball right at the target that time.
We talk about a player having a big strike zone. Look at the guy in the batter's box. Letter high to Volstad is shoulder high for a lot of players.
That's like pitching to an ice box size strike zone.
Three up and 3 down. 8 strikeouts for Vasquez. Javi needed that. 77 pitches now, but his offense has to give him some support. Bottom of the 4th inning in what's been a very bittersweet week all around Major League Baseball. We lost our dear friend Harry
Swing and a
Kalas.
miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Harry Kalas passed away yesterday in Washington, D.C. at Nationals Park. before their ball game, and I was shocked, quite frankly, to hear of that horrible news. And certainly all of our thoughts and prayers go to Harry's family, his son Todd, a broadcaster with the Tampa Bay Rays TV network. And for so many years, Joe, just a great ambassador for our game. And we'd go to Philadelphia, and that was one of the treats, was just to spend a few minutes with Harry Kalas.
Well, I'm really glad we got to see him last week. Brokenhearted, of course, over the news yesterday. I know Harry had not been feeling well. He'd just spent a stint in the hospital. He was weak. Even when we saw him there for Wednesday to throw out the first pitch in his beautiful linen Phillies red sport coat, you could tell he wasn't right. But just a horrible loss to the Phillies, to the game, and to us as friends. He will be sorely missed.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Kelly Johnson. We were talking with Tommy Hutton, who played for the Phillies, about that. He said, you know, Philadelphia's had its share of heroes and icons. You know, you think of Rocky. You know, Harry Kalas was kind of that everyman broadcaster, and that's what endeared him so well to that blue-collar town, as Tommy talked about. My running joke with Harry Kalas was every time I saw him, I felt like having a bowl of soup. The voice of the Campbell's Chunky Soup commercials and NFL films as Kelly ambushes Volstad for a solo home run.
This guy doesn't give up homers. He just gave up a rocket. And already the 3rd of the year for Kelly.
11th hit by the Braves.
This is only the 2nd home run he's given up to a left-handed hitter in his career. Chase Utley was the other guy, and there was no doubt about it. Retired the first 9 in order. Going through the 2nd time in the order now.
Escobar takes the ball low. 1 ball, no strikes. Escobar has hit safely in each of the Braves' 6 games. Had a great series against the Nationals and is in an even count.
Hopefully what this will do is put a little doubt in Volstad's mind. I mean, he was in such control, doing exactly what he wanted to do. But this guy walks a lot of people. He walked 4 in 5 innings in his first start, and in his career against Atlanta, 8 walks in 12 innings last year.
But not many pitches, because the Braves have gone up there hacking early in the count.
And they've had to on some occasions, because he's pounding the strike zone and getting ahead.
So Mark Wiley makes note of Kelly Johnson's power in his pitching coach diary. The shutout gone, the no-hitter gone. Now Escobar chops toward 3rd, and that's foul. 1-2.
If you go away from you now, you have to go way away where he can't reach the ball. In other words, breaking balls well off the plate, because he's so good at going to right center. And to keep him honest, they're trying to keep the ball in on his hands. Nine hits on the year, 3 to left, 2 to center, 4 to right for Unell.
Volstad knocks it down, recovers, throws low, but Glode able to make the play for out number 1. Pretty good play for the 6'7" right-hander to slow that ball down.
Especially when you've got to turn your back to first base. When he picks this up, he's got to do a 360 and throw blindly to first base, but he made a decent enough throw to get the out.
Chimper grounded out on the first pitch he saw from Volstad back in the 1st inning. He'll reach a milestone here in the next couple of weeks. 15 hits away from 2,300. Here's Chipper Jones.
You're going to be shocked with the answer to the Toyota Tacoma trivia question tonight. Probably a lot of people at home that had Uggla Urbina.
Yeah. He was on that team, right?
I believe he was.
Yeah, he came on late. Those of us who are in Chicago remember the 03 season very well. The cynic might say their closer was Steve Parton.
Oh. Gonna have to get over it.
Yeah. It wasn't Joe Borowski. He was with the Cubs. Wow. Chipper really tied up. 2 outs.
Fighting right in on his hands. Tied him up. Well, okay, here is the answer to the question. And it was, who was the closer on the World Championship 2003 Florida Marlins team? How about Braden Looper?
Yep, that's right. Yep.
28 saves.
In the air from McCann into shallow left. That ball was looping too, and an easy inning for Volstad, who gave up the solo shot to Kelly Johnson. Kelly's 3rd of the year, has the Braves on the board, but trailing by 2 and in the 5th.
Atlanta-based Jamieson Inns ranked #1 in guest service nationwide for 5 straight years. Check into Jamieson Inns and experience our new pillow-top premium beds and the best in Southern hospitality. Jamieson Inns, you deserve a new deal.
Nice night in Atlanta in all regards except the score. 3-1 Marlins lead it heading to the 5th inning. Top of their order is up, and here's that man again, Emilio Bonifacio, who started that 3-run third with a clean single to left. He scored the first run of tonight's game too. Bonifacio leads baseball in hits. He now has 15 of them and has scored 10 runs now. That's also first in the league.
I don't know a whole lot about the other 2 young men that came over in the deal from Washington, but I know that he is going to be an integral part of any success Florida has this year, Bonifacio, in exchange for Josh Willingham and Scott Olson.
Well, you made the point in the opener, and I think it's worth repeating, that the acquisition of Bonifacio really made this Florida club because it filled 2 spots with 1 move. He can lead off, and it drops Hanley Ramirez down into a run-producing spot.
Keeps him in the 3rd spot where he needs to be. Think of the guys that drive you crazy. I mean, in the past, whether it was Kenny Lofton, whether it was Brett Butler, those types of guys in recent years that were outstanding at just putting the ball in play, threatening to bunt, and driving you crazy.
Well, think about our division. Jose Reyes for the Mets, Jimmy Rollins for the Phillies, now Bonifacio. If those guys get on, that fuels their entire attack.
It does, but this guy's different than those 2. I mean, Reyes will bunt, and he loves to run. Jimmy Rollins is kind of that hybrid. He's got power, and he's going to hit some gappers. Guys I'm talking about are those pests
that do this.
That do this and drive you crazy and run up your pitch count.
Mike Rizzo was asked about the trade from Washington to Florida. Mike said, well, you might recall the former general manager is the man that made that deal. And when Mike was asked, well, what did he think of it? He said, I don't think I'll comment.
Yeah.
After Florida swept Washington.
Which spoke volumes.
Yes.
Well, as we pointed out, he is naturally a second baseman and did make some errors at second base for Washington last year in a brief tune-up, let's say, to his career. So he's learning a new position at third base, and he'll make some mistakes over there. Apparently the report is he's fine left or right, but anything hit right at him is still a little suspect.
But Andy Fox, fine infield instructor as well as their first base coach, works overtime with him. And a little roller, Vasquez unloads quickly. Nice play.
Good thing, too. That ball gets over his glove. That's a base hit. Couple of good plays bouncing off the mound tonight by Javi Vasquez. I'll tell you who else they have over there in addition to Andy Fox is their hitting coach, Jim Presley, who was a longtime Major League third baseman. In fact, spent some time here in Atlanta.
Well, I don't know about you, but I think it's great that the game is finally getting back. And look, our sport always works in a pendulum. It swings back and forth between dominance of pitching, dominance of hitting, dominance of power versus dominance of speed. It seems like there's more room in the game now for the little man, and there has been maybe in the last 10-15 years because of the steroid controversy in Major League Baseball and its exposure and the penalties for its use.
Yeah, well, I love it. I love seeing guys run the bases. That doesn't mean I don't enjoy watching Kelly Johnson trot around the bases.
Oh, sure.
But I'm just saying, with the need for speed now compared to 5 or 6 years ago, it's fun to see.
Marlins up 3-1. 2 quick strikes to Baker. Beautiful hit and run. His last time up, picked the right hole to shoot the ball through with Bonifacio aboard. It was Escobar covering it short. Baker filled that gap, and the Marlins had men at first and third, and Dan Uggla chased him home with a 2-out hit. Marlins have made Vasquez work. He's got 8 strikeouts tonight.
And 90 pitches, closing in on what, for the first week anyway, Bobby and Rogers' pitch limit was around 100 pitches for each of the guys.
Over the outside corner for number 9.
Bobby went by the 100 pitch count in Philadelphia, but I think largely because he had already pitched a little bit more than the guys in the rotation outside of Javi, given the World Baseball Classic, a couple of games with Puerto Rico before he ever got to camp with Atlanta.
So 6 in a row have been set down. Vasquez 5 away from tying his career high of 14 strikeouts in a big league game. That came while he was with the Expos against the Cubs. Andy Ramirez chased Francoeur back to the wall in right to end the first. And then with 2 men on in the third and 1 out, was called out on a check swing strikeout. So Javi's handled Ramirez very, very well so far tonight.
I said this before about Javi. My recollection when he was with Montreal pitching against Atlanta, he would fire some really good games. And he might come out of the game with a chance to win, leading 3-2 or 4-3, have a couple of guys on base, and then the bullpen would give up the runs, and he'd get saddled with the loss. And if you just looked at that or just looked at the box score, you'd think, well, he didn't pitch very well, when if you were there, you knew that he did and really deserved to win.
And his rap in Chicago with the White Sox last year was 1 bad pitch. He'd cruise right along, 6 innings, 7 innings, and all of a sudden 1 mistake would cost him a chance to win the game. We haven't seen much evidence of that in his first 2 starts with the Braves this year. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Hanley, and back to the screen foul.
Not too many pitchers have the guts to throw that curveball inside the right-handed hitters. You got to really have a lot of confidence in it and know that you're going to start it off the plate and have it pretty much stay inside off the plate, maybe catch the inside corner. But most guys won't do that for fear of hanging it and just getting it clocked.
Breaking ball for number 10. Beautiful pitch, takes care of Hanley Ramirez, and it's 3 up, 3 down for the Fish in the top of the 5th.
Florida's still on top as we go to the bottom half of the 5th inning. And fans, you can get a family value plan and get 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 Cokes, parking, and a program for only $59. That's right. 4 tickets, 4 dogs, 4 Cokes, parking, and a program, $59. Or enjoy all of your favorite ballpark foods with the AM/PM all-you-can-eat tickets. I'll give you the phone number. You can visit Braves.com/tickets or call 800-745-3000. Great deals here at the old ball yard.
And we know the economy is on everyone's mind. A buck is tough to come by. And the Braves and just about every team in Major League Baseball, too, trying to make the games as affordable and fan-friendly as they can. And we hope that you'll choose to spend some of your entertainment dollars here at Turner Field this summer. And the Braves so far in the opening week are upholding their end of the bargain, playing good baseball. They've won 5 of their first 6.
And they're trying real hard to find a ticket package that fits every family.
Anderson jammed, pops it to shallow right. Uggla out, Messica in. Volstad has allowed 1 hit through 4 1/3 now.
Really tying some guys up. Changing speeds. But that fastball or cutter he threw to Chipper that caused Chipper to try to change his swing in mid-swing. You don't see that happen very often.
Francoeur also popped out his first time. With regards to Chipper, that hand I would imagine still pretty sore after he was jammed in spring training. Remember, he didn't play that final game in Philadelphia. A liner to left. Hangs up for Hermida, 2 out. And on a cold night like tonight, Joe, you know, doesn't feel good to get jammed, healthy hand or not.
No, and Chipper's wearing one of those devices. It's like a sponge that kind of fits over the thumb, and then there's a pad that sticks down kind of like a keyring fob in a way that to protect the inside of his thumb while he's hitting. Did I say fob?
Fob, well, yes.
Wow, where did that come from? You knew what I was talking about, though, right?
Just like smidge or whatever that stuff was that you were talking earlier. That might be the first time fob has been used in a Major League broadcast.
It's usually a fog.
I'm in one most of the time. You know that. 2-0 to Kochman. Eric O'Flaherty warming in the Braves pen. Javi might be getting close to or may have exceeded his pitch count. We shall see if he's out after 5 tonight. 3-1. Marlins have the lead. All their damage in the 3rd inning tonight. There's your second base runner. Kochman walks. Let's see if Schaefer can do some ambushing here and tie this thing up.
He's the guy that struck out on that real nasty breaking ball his first time up. Just a matter of Volstad perhaps making a mistake in the inner 3rd. He's done a good job of tying up the left-handers and jamming them, with the exception of Kelly Johnson. See if he makes a mistake that Jordan leaves one out over the plate as Greg Norton's come out on deck to hit.
He thought about a home run, but a 91-mile-an-hour sinker disappeared from sight. There's Norton. He'll hit if Schaefer reaches. One ball, one strike. If you think about Kochman scoring on a double, it would have to be hit in the right center field gap, and even then that's a maybe. One weakness in Casey's game is he does not have much speed.
Right center field gap and rolled with Grant Park.
Come on, Shaq.
We can arrange that. 2 balls and a strike. Well, I mean, Maben could fall down. Mezek could trip on the warning track. Lots of things could happen like that.
Hit it toward the bullpen gate. Open the gate.
Yeah.
Let it roll to the back of the bullpen.
Kick it under a chair. 2-2.
Got him to chase one upstairs.
I miss the old San Diego ballpark. Every now and then you see somebody go in and put their hands up in the bullpens where the ball was in play.
Guys are running around everywhere.
Two balls, 2 strikes. He went fishing. That ball in the dirt. And Baker throws out Jordan Schaefer. Well, Chris Volstad's making it look awfully easy tonight, isn't he? He's given up 1 hit, and he leads after 5.
Nothing stopping you. Back with you on Peachtree TV tomorrow night. Derek Lowe against left-hander Andrew Miller. Then Sports South for the next game against the Marlins. That's a 12:05 start, remember, on Thursday. And the Braves head out on a long road trip, stopping first in Pittsburgh with first 2 games on Sports South and then on Sunday on Fox Sports South.
So season starting to crank up its frequency. A lot of off days in the month of April. Most of them are weather mandated.
5 in April, 1 off day in May. Scheduled.
Smacked by Glow to center. Schaefer twisting and turning handles that knuckler. 1 out.
Braves will face left-handers in 3 of their next 5 games beginning tomorrow. And so far on the year, Atlanta 3-0 against left-handed starters.
So one would guess Matt Diaz would get a crack to play against the Marlins maybe tomorrow. And that's always good news for the Braves. He historically has killed the fish at the plate. Here's Uggla. I was talking with Ron Darling this weekend about that very pitch that Vasquez threw. A little slow, get me over breaking ball that seemingly no hitter ever expects. And it's almost like it's a free strike.
That's what Brad Lidge tries to do every time he comes in, is just throw that get over slider for the first pitch, and you got to be ready for that. He gave up a couple more runs, including a home run last night.
For his perfect year last year, 41 for 41 in the regular season and 7 for 7 in the playoffs. Their margin for error was pretty small. He blows a couple of saves. He could still have a great year, but that could be the difference between the Phillies winning the East and not. Wow, how about that pitch? Uggla is down and 4 out. 11 strikeouts for Vasquez and 9 in a row retired.
Well, you know what Javi's probably thinking is, why didn't he do that back in the 3rd inning when Uggla had the biggest hit of the game, a 2-run single with 2 out, but that ball bounced about 3 feet in front of home plate. Like Dan had already made up his mind to swing.
Armida hits. A 2-out Uggla hit, the most damaging blow in this game for the Marlins. Wild pitch plated another.
I mean, you know, on the slot there.
In the air down the line to left. Anderson got a good jump and cannot come up. It's a foul ball. He was there.
Yeah, he dropped it. See what happened. Foul territory, fortunately. He had it, he just didn't know he had it. And when he pulled his glove away from his body, it dropped. And that will be an error.
So new life for Hermida, who takes changeup low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's over the outside corner and a dirty dozen for Vasquez. 12 strikeouts. Oh, he's pitching a beauty tonight. The offense, though, just 1 hit in support. Joe back with you at Turner Field. The night is done for Javi Vasquez as Martin Prado leads off for Atlanta in the sixth. And 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs earned, a walk, 12 strikeouts. He pitches like this, he's going to win more than his share of games for Atlanta.
Last time a Braves pitcher struck out 12 in a game, John Smoltz, back in August of 2007. Great performance in 6 innings.
Come on, kid.
He struck out 12.
Come on, Brad.
Now he needs the offense to come back in this game against Volstad, who's given up only 1 hit. Popped up. Baker near the screen, has no play.
Like 5 people standing up, getting ready to catch that ball. One guy sitting down, and the one guy sitting down got hit right in the head. It was nice of those people all to pull their hands back at the same time. Ow.
Come on, kid.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Reds and Brewers tied 1-1 after 2 in Milwaukee tonight. J.J. Hardy has hit a home run. Yankees shutting out the Rays 2-0. Tampa Bay doesn't have a hit tonight, as they are through 5.
He's chunking for the Yanks. Burnett looks like.
Yeah, A.J. Burnett. Matt Garza for the Rays. And that one headed for the gap. Hermida will try to cut it off and can't. Prado's got an extra base hit and starts off the 6th with a double. This guy can flat out hit.
He got to play Sunday just to get some at bats, but watch his patience. This is the pitch before the double. It was a close pitch. 2-2. A little bit low and away, but boy, it was a hairline pitch. And then the double. So he gets the count to 3-2, and he doesn't miss the pitch at the knees over the plate. And Martin Prado comes through again. He was 1 for 3 Sunday.
And isn't that the job of a pinch hitter, to not just watch but observe the game? He knows that Volstad is from 2 balls above the kneecap and down in the strike zone. He went down and golfed that ball into the gap. Now let's see if Kelly Johnson can move him over or in this 6th inning. Braves have plenty of life, plenty of time left, down just 2.
And it's so important to get that run in. Even if you don't have a big inning, get this guy over and get him in. And Kelly had the right approach there, just to bunt him over to make sure he got him to third base for Escobar.
If there is a perceived weakness on this Florida club, it is the unsettled nature of their bullpen. Matt Lindstrom's their closer. He cannot be and will not be used by Freddie Gonzalez in back-to-back games for the first 4 weeks of this season. But getting the ball to him has been an issue. Well, let's see if the Braves can make Volstad pay here the 2nd time and maybe 3rd time through.
They picked up Hayden Penn near the end of spring training, and he's a kind of an unknown quantity, at least to the National Leaguers, but a guy who might really help their club. Kelly making him work. Now 3-1. Don't think at 3-1 he's just going to throw one down the middle. Just be patient, reduce your strike zone, and look for a pitch in a certain spot.
Kelly hit the spot last time, didn't he?
Yeah, 4th inning. Leading off after 9 in a row had been set down. He golfed this one into the seats for his 3rd homer. That was the only hit for Atlanta until Prado's double leading off this inning. Get him over, though. Get him over to third base.
hammered to left. Hermida back, makes the catch, but to the wrong side of the outfield. Kelly cannot advance Prado, drove it deep, and Volstad the first out of the 6th inning.
Trying to protect a 1-run lead is so much harder than protecting a 2-run lead. And that's why it's important for the Braves to get that guy in. We're only in the 6th inning. It's a whole lot easier, even offensively, to think about trying to tie the game up if you're only down 1.
Braves have hit the ball in the air now 1, 2, 3, 4 times in the last inning in the 3rd. Mark Wiley to the bullpen phone. Maybe they'll start to stir. As perhaps he spotted something out of Volstad as he approaches the 80th pitch of the night.
Left-hander Dan Meyer, who came up through the Braves system, went to Oakland in the Tim Hudson deal, is the man warming up.
That's high ball too. You know, Escobar would love to get on in front of Chipper here.
With Uggla holding him on, trying to keep Prado close, it opens up that whole right side for Yunel, and you know how good he is at going to right field and right center.
Maben over 2 or 3 more steps from pitch to pitch now, as the count 3-0 with 1 on and 1 out.
Probably taking here with Chipper on deck.
Nowhere near. 4-pitch walk. Tying run potentially on now for Atlanta. Mark Wiley on his way out. When a sinker baller starts to miss up consistently, that is a big red light for a pitching coach.
That's a good point, Chip, and that's what's happened this inning. The double he gave up wasn't a bad pitch. Martin just hit one at the knees. It was out over the plate, but that's the history of Volstad, is loss of control. Last year, 84 1/3 innings in the big leagues, 36 walks.
4 walks in 5 innings, as you mentioned, Joe, in his last start. 2 walks in 5 1/3 so far tonight.
But brilliant to this point,
yes,
control-wise. I mean, he's owned the strike zone. And a guy who does not, again, give up home runs. What'd you say, 3 and
175 innings all year last year from Chris Volstad, minor leagues included.
3 homers, and Kelly's gotten him tonight. Let's see what Chipper can do with him.
Chipper has struck out and grounded out. High and away, 1 ball, no strikes.
Well, this is the wrong guy to start elevating pitches on when you got a chance to, when you've got the tying runs on base.
Bonifacio well off the line at 3rd. And a late strike inside corner. Chipper didn't like that.
It may well have been a strike, but Doug Eddings was really late calling it. He may have gotten blocked a little bit by Baker, who moved over in front of him.
Grounded foul. Glenn Hubbard with a fine play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. You can see Chipper holding that hand as that ball in on his hands. Remember, the strikeout in the 4th inning really tied him up. Will Chipper try to cheat on the inside half? Little swinging roller. Only 1 play. Volstad got him. 2 out.
What happens when your thumb is bothering you like that? You do start your swing early to make sure you don't get jammed, Chip. And for Chipper, that's what happened here. He was already committed. He just wanted to make sure he got the barrel of the bat out there. And it looked like an off-speed pitch, so he just kind of pounded it into the dirt. Volstad elected to go barehanded with it. And probably a good thing he did, because he barely got Chipper. Second time tonight, Chipper's barely been thrown out.
So now McCann hits in a spot where a single could tie the game. Letter high strike, 0-1. Again, though, that pitch up.
2 outs, runners in scoring position coming into the game. Braves hitting .469, best in the National League. I'll tell you what's happening. It's the Braves are taking a few pitches to hit, and then he's disguising some of these pitches, like that breaking ball that bit in on Bryant's hands, and getting them to react to get ahead in the count. But the best pitch Bryant got to hit in this at bat could have been that first one. We'll see.
Hot shot. Oh, it ate up Glode. He recovers. Flips to the pitcher covering, and the inning is over. McCann hit a laser, and Ross Glode got a glove on it and preserves a Marlin lead after 6. Great stat man Hal Galima made a very good point going to break, Joe. That play by Ross Glode is one that maybe Wes Helms doesn't make, and maybe not even Jorge can too. Got just enough leather on that hot smash to keep this game in Florida's advantage through 6.
Well, that's what we were talking about at the outset, about how they have to improve their defense to back up this good pitching. And there was a good case in point, and it saved 2 runs. It was hit right at him, but it was a hot shot, and he got at least enough leather on it to control it and make a toss to Volstad covering.
And that might be the key too. The pitcher didn't spectate, he participated and ended the threat. So Volstad due up third here in the 7th inning. Peter Moylan on for Atlanta to face Cameron Maben to start things off. Slight mechanical adjustment for Peter Moylan after his first stint.
Yeah, he said he was flying open a little bit in that first outing up in Philadelphia.
Slow roller, better hurry. Bare hand play. Got him by a quarter step. Nice effort. 1 out.
It's the only chance Kelly had, and he gets a high five from Yunel Escobar as a result of this. He had to come up with it barehanded and got him by a half step. That's the second time tonight. Maben's been, well, called out at first.
Yes.
Close play, great play by Johnson.
Yeah, Hunter Wendelstedt's had a month's worth of close plays in this game alone. Here's Amezaga 0 for 2. And he's just back from some knee issues. Getting the start tonight in right. He's 0 for 2 on the game, 0 for 2 on the year.
He had some knee problems that were bothering him before the World Baseball Classic, but he played for the Mexican national team.
Figure the Braves bullpen's going to settle in now after an inauspicious start to the year. They were much better than they showed in that game in Philadelphia. Right now, the Braves pensman just 1 run in their last 7 innings and a third with that second out of the 7th inning. 2 outs. Volstad continues on. He has struck out twice tonight. Yankees leading the Rays 2-0. That's in the bottom of the 6th inning. A.J. Burnett's still a no-hit bid working. Angels 2, Mariners 2, bottom 8th out in the AL West. Seattle off to a very impressive start. They've got Carlos Silva starting for them tonight.
Volstad's pitch count at 89. Not sure what his limit might be tonight, but he's got some room at least between there and 100 pitches to go another inning. Unfortunate that the Braves were not able to capitalize on that leadoff double and get Prado to third for Escobar and Chipper to try and drive him in.
I think Nick Swisher will close the game for the Yankees tonight.
Hey, why not?
He's homered already tonight.
Well, he got some work in yesterday after the Rays blew him out.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Volstad down on 3 pitches. Peter Moylan made the 7th look easy. Now let's see if the Braves bats can come to life. Anderson, Francoeur, Kochman do in a 2-run Marlin game.
And time for tonight's Home Depot know-how question, and it comes from Bill Brown in Atlanta, who wants to know what's happening with Tim Hudson. Any chance we'll see him this year? Well, how about tonight, Bill? Want to see him tonight? There's Tim stretching it out today with physical therapist Lloyd Van Pemelen. And you can see Tim already playing some catch and extending the distance while playing catch to strengthen his arm as his rehab from Tommy John surgery continues. And the Braves originally were hoping to get Tim back in August, sometime after the All-Star break. We'll wait to see how that pans out, but everything a go so far, and he feels great, according to Tim.
So that's certainly good news. Bill, we thank you for the question. And Volstad to work in the 7th inning. Let's see if the Braves can keep that baseball above mid-thigh and cash in some opportunities. Haven't been many against this kid tonight. Braves have just 2 hits. The leadoff double that didn't score in the 6th, however, looming very large so far.
As you get deeper in the game, you start seeing different pitchers begin to loosen up for the Marlins, as they now have one of their left-handed setup men, Raniel Pinto, loosening up. There he is. He's Got good stuff.
That ball handcuffed Uggla at second, but he made the play on the fly. 1 out.
A knuckleball maybe. This ball began to sink, and Uggla had to go to his knees to make sure he got the glove under it. So good defense tonight for Florida.
Yep. Looping line drive into center. Maben misjudged it. Even if he had judged it, don't know if he would have caught up to this ball.
I don't know who would have judged that one correctly. Maybe Andrew Jones. But Jeff Francoeur took a vicious cut at this and hit it right off the end of the bat. So Maben, thinking it was really hit hard, no chance for him to get to that one. And maybe some bees in Jeff's hands too. It ringing in his hands, hitting it off the end of the bat.
Well, again, chance for the Braves to tie if Kochman can go deep. He's popped out and walked. Casey, looking for his first home run of the young season, has driven home one man. Up the middle. Uggla gloves. Ramirez 1. And a first 2. Volstad got just enough to slow that ball down, and that allowed Uggla to catch it and start the 1-4-6-3 inning-ending double play. Turner Field, Chris Volstad throwing a masterpiece at Atlanta tonight. He has a 3-1 lead after 7. Now Jeff Bennett on to face the top of the Marlins order with no margin for error in the late innings tonight.
It's the Braves' 7th game, and this is the 5th appearance for Bennett. 3 2/3 innings, 6 hits, but no runs allowed. He's also hit a batter and walked one, but still no runs allowed. He struck out 3. But you're right, Chip can't afford to give up any more to Florida. 13 in a row set down combined between Vasquez and Moylan.
Boy, Vasquez deserves a better fate tonight. 12 strikeouts, 1 walk in his 6 innings of work. Moylan a 1-2-3 7th. Now Bennett to work against Emilio Bonifacio. Another hit for him tonight, another run for him tonight. He is 1 for 3. Bonifacio, you might recall, had an inside the park homer on opening day and was the first man to do that since 1968. Do you know who did it?
Dick McAuliffe.
No, but that's a very good guess.
Thank you.
Carl Yastrzemski hit an inside the park homer on opening day in '68. I couldn't believe that. I never knew.
Speaking of a ball rolling to Grant Park.
Well, yeah.
That one rolled to Kenmore Square.
Yeah. That came against the Nationals down at Dolphin Stadium. 2 balls, no strikes. Don't want to walk this guy. And it's over a strike. Sliced toward left. Garrett Anderson in the corner. Drops another one. Already 1 error on Anderson on a dropped fly ball down the left field line.
Now another. This is an E7. This was not one he tried to catch against his body. He had the glove out there, but it hit him right on the wrist.
So 2 errors on Anderson on foul balls tonight.
You know, it's not like the Marlins are trying to come out of nowhere this year. Last year, 84 wins, 77 losses. They finished in 3rd place in the division, just 7.5 back to Philly.
Escobar playing in to his left. Close play. Safe this time. An elite call by Hunter Wendelstedt. The ball dropped.
It will be a base hit. Escobar was trying to get his feet under him because he knew he had to cut loose a strong throw with Bonifacio running, but he threw a sinker, and Casey Kochman, normally very sure-handed over there, had it squib right off the web of his glove. I think he was going to be safe anyway.
Got another story about Bonifacio, but first the pitch to Baker. How fast is he? Mike Rizzo, again, while scouting for the Diamondbacks, had Bonifacio on a tryout. Timed him in a 6.22 60-yard dash.
Wow.
Thought the watch was mistaken. Had him run it again, same time. He was sold. So again, he has the green light to go at any time and represents a big run potentially for the Marlins. As that one inside the line, fair down the left field line. Bonifacio on his way to 3rd, getting the green light. Relay throw will not nearly be in time. He scores, and it's 4-1.
When you got wheels like Bonifacio has, and you know how well he runs, on a ball like this, another good piece of hitting by Baker, you got to do your dead level best to go in and try to cut that ball off in the corner. Anderson waited for it to come out, and if you do that, no way you're going to have a play on Bonifacio.
Speed never slumps, Branch Rickey once said, and he is right. Bonifacio, an exciting player, has scored 2 more runs tonight. Another multi-hit game for him. Baker, a multi-hit game, has driven him home in this 8th inning. And now Hanley Ramirez and the Marlins up 4-1. Nobody out. And the Fish trying to take over first all by themselves in the Eastern Division tonight.
I'm kind of concerned. I guess the word is concerned. Wondering if the calf muscle of Garrett Anderson is 100%.
Base hit to right field by Ramirez. Baker, a catcher, will stop at 3rd. 3 straight hits. Although in fairness to Bennett, the leadoff man Bonifacio should have been retired.
But given the fact that this is Garrett's first action since coming back after sitting out a few days with that strained calf muscle, restrained it a couple of days ago, we just hope that it's not something that's going to be continuing to bother him. He's only made 2 errors in the last 3 seasons, and he's made 2 tonight.
Infield halfway for the Braves up the middle. Chipper even with the bag at third as Ross Glode bats. He has walked and has scored on a wild pitch that came in the third inning. After Moylan worked to 1-2-3 7th, Bennett's been greeted rudely here in the 8th. Don't forget, not only was Garrett guilty of the drop, Casey dropped the throw of Escobar on that chopper hit by Bonifacio. Hit and run again, and this time Glode fouls it back. They are going to run. The Marlins will run.
Freddie Gonzalez not going to sit back and wait for a 3-run homer here. He's going to try to get another guy into scoring position. Steals second. All it takes is a single to get 2 more in. But again, I just hope Garrett's all right out there. I hope his leg's okay. His mobility certainly appears to be limited, because you make 2 errors total in 3 seasons, and you make 2 in one night on foul balls. There's something else going on.
A.J. Burnett takes his no-hit bid now into the 7th inning in Tampa Bay. He leads the Rays 2-0. Burnett, you might recall, had a no-hit performance while with the Marlins almost 8 years ago.
May 12th of 2001 at San Diego. He walked 9 that night. 9 batters in his no-hitter.
Dig in, boys. Go get him. Yankees trying to come back from their blowout loss at the hands of the Rays. Again, the runner goes. McCann's throw is through and not in time. That ball's dropped. Braves with a case of the dropsies tonight. And Ramirez has his first steal.
Let's see what happened here. Brian made a good throw, like he was going to be right on the money, but Escobar came up in front of the bag to take that throw, and I don't know if the runner hit his glove or if he just flat dropped it trying to get the tag there too in a hurry.
He couldn't have been worried about Baker going home, could he have been? To be that far in front of the bag?
Well, you got to keep your eye on the runner at third in case he comes in, but let's see if Ramirez brushes him here. A little bit. I'm not sure he ever had it in his glove, but there was some contact there. Now let's take a look at the Zaxby's indescribably good play of the game. Dan Uggla, a 2-run single back in the 3rd inning that capped a 3-run 3rd inning and put the Marlins on top. Lead right now 4-1, but that was a big hit at the time. The sensation Zalad is back at Zaxby's. Did you know that?
I did not.
Yeah, flavor so unique it demanded an encore.
And here's the man you don't want to face with the bases loaded, Dan Uggla.
Yeah, I'll say 2 slams last year, a .524 average with the bases loaded.
And a big 2-out hit in the 3rd inning, a 2-run scoring single that started the scoring for the Marlins. Infield has to come in, and he breaks his bat and dumps it in the right field. Baker scores. Ramirez gets the green light. Throw to the plate from Francoeur in plenty of time for the first out.
Ramirez didn't want to score, Chip. I watched him at third base. He just figured he was going to be held up since it was a base hit to Francoeur, and he was shocked when Bo Porter waved him and he couldn't quite get anything going again. But he was very tiptoey hesitant around third. Good throw by Francoeur, good tag by McCann to at least save that one. See, he kind of stopped right there, glided into second, and then kicked it up again to no avail.
Well, the Braves get their first out. Jeff Bennett gives up 4 hits and a walk in 1/3 of an inning. And the Marlins playing a very aggressive brand of baseball tonight, trying to set the tone in Atlanta. They've got a big lead. Jeff Bennett departs. And this call to the bullpen brought to you by AT&T, your world delivered.
In Atlanta to catch Braves action all season long, and that's right here on Peachtree TV. And you know, we always bring it to you in beautiful high definition. Now, if you need a list of all the games, all you have to do is go to peachtreetv.com/Braves. And you know what? We got something for you on Friday. 3 nights, 1 great movie, John Malkovich, Nicolas Cage, Con Air on Peachtree TV. The Braves play right here on Peachtree TV.
Hi, JJ. Thank you very much. Eric O'Flaherty takes over for Jeff Bennett, who was hit very hard. 4 hits and a walk. But again, in defense of Jeff, one of those hits a broken batter, and one of those runs should not have scored. Bonifacio should have been out not once but twice. So 5-1, Marlins in front. Trying to run their record to 6-1. At the start of this season, and the Marlins beginning a stretch of 13 of 16 games away from South Florida, playing very impressively tonight behind Chris Volstad.
Well, again, they were a good team last year. They're better this year because they've got a full season ahead of them with Josh Johnson and Anibal Sanchez, who were both hurt last year. They've got Volstad on their staff, who was in the minor leagues most of the season for all but 14 starts. They're a better team.
And I think, too, I'd like to get your opinion on this. Now that we know the Marlins are going to get their new ballpark, one would think that would allow them the financial flexibility, if they're in it July 31st, to go out and acquire maybe a middle relief guy to get to Matt Lindstrom.
Well, I'm not sure how a stadium that's going to be completed in 2012 there's a good turn, but if they're in the hunt, they should be looking at that certainly to help their pen.
O'Flaherty gets Bennett and the Braves out of an 8th inning jam, but 2 more across on a cold night in Atlanta.
Game 2 of the Marlin Braves matchup. Wednesday at 7 on Peachtree TV. The Braves play here.
Braves up in the bottom of the 8th inning. Need a big-time rally to find themselves in this Marlins bullpen. As Chris Volstad out after 7 innings of 3-hit, 1-run baseball. He gives way to right-hander Leo Nunez, who pitched in 45 games last season and won 4 of them.
He did a great job for Kansas City. Spent a little bit of time on the disabled list with a lat muscle injury, but otherwise 45 games, a 2.98 ERA. Some other defensive changes for the Florida Marlins. Mezaga moves to left field, and Cody Ross is in right.
The Marlins have 3 center fielders in their outfield defensively for the last 2 innings of play tonight. Again, great flexibility for Freddie Gonzalez as Nunez nearly hits Schaefer with ball 1. There's Ross. And here's Nunez. At 92, that's good enough.
One of the things tonight that I've noticed about Freddie Gonzalez is that Jorge Cantu did not play at first base tonight. He's got a bit of a bruised hand from being hit by a pitch.
Schaefer up the middle, a leadoff single. There's a good start. He's 1 for 3.
There is a good start, especially Volstad out of there. The Braves would be happy to see anybody other than Chris. But without Cantu in there, who's definitely a power hitter. Cody Ross didn't play tonight. He's got power. They've changed the kind of the rhythm of their team. With Bonifacio setting the tone, they're hitting and running and stealing more tonight.
Here's Greg Norton now. He bats for O'Flaherty, and Greg slices one down the left field line. Long run of Mezaga. Foul. Strike 1.
Just missed by a couple of feet. Nunez has been touched up a little bit here in his first 2 games as a Marlin. 3 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, including a home run.
Norton looking for his first hit of the young season. Big hole right side. And takes a strike at the knees. Boy, everything from these Marlins pitchers is down.
They got power arms too. And Lindstrom is a mid-90s guy, and he's right. Pinto is in the low 90s, the left-hander.
And took a little off, and Norton down on 3 pitches. 1 out.
93 to 84 with the changeup.
Just the way you used to pitch when you were so called upon, right?
That was me.
A.J. Burnett, by the way, has lost his no-hitter and has lost the lead. Tampa Bay has tied him up now after 7, 2-2. Down at Tropicana Field. Here's Kelly, 5-1. Marlins lead. He's getting loose. That was 94.
A couple of divisions in baseball seemingly upside down, and the American League East is one of them, with Toronto and Baltimore at the top.
Baltimore's 5-2. Toronto 6-2. That leads the East.
San Diego atop the NL West. Who'd have thunk it?
No balls and a strike. In the air to right, but that's off the end of the bat. 2 out.
It was a changeup, and Kelly seemed to be looking for it, but was just that much out in front. Otherwise, it's 5-3. Changeup was running away from him too, but Kelly was on it. quite on the sweet spot.
So Yunel Escobar, Atlanta's final hope for the 8th. Yunel 0 for 2 with a walk. His 6-game hit streak is on the line in this at bat. Came in hitting .400. He and Chipper both at .400 to start the year. That was good for 7th in the league. Man leading the league in batting average was Christian Guzman of the Nationals, believe it or not.
A 5-hit game yesterday and then got hurt on an infield hit his last time up. Strained a hamstring.
So stay hot, Washington. They're 0-7, and they're arguably their best player right now hurt. Pete Orr might get summoned from the minor leagues if he has to go on the DL. Swinging a miss 0-2.
Well, they put Willie Harris on the disabled list, activated Anderson Hernandez.
He too had been hurt.
So then they lose the other member of their middle infield core, and Guzman. I don't know if he's going to have to go on the DL, but they can't afford. I mean, they're 0-7. They can't afford to lose their best hitter.
Can one of their right fielders play second base? They got enough of those.
They had a scheduled off day today, weather-related off day, just in case after their opener yesterday.
The Marlins are overpowering the Braves tonight. Nunez gives up a hit and nothing else in the 8th. 9th inning, Marlins by 4. Blaine Boyer, he's the 5th to work for Atlanta tonight. 4th out of Bobby Cox's bullpen. Busy workload for Boyer, 76 games and 72 innings. That a product of all the injuries Atlanta suffered in their starting rotation, and I would imagine Bobby Cox would like to see that total shaved by about a third if he can get it into the upper 40s or so.
First appearance for Blaine since that game last Wednesday in Philadelphia, so he'll try to get on track tonight. Face 2 batters and walk them both.
Quick strike to Cameron Maben, who is 1 for 3 in the game. Hit high to center field. Schaefer, though, has it tracked. Brought out. Former Brave Kyle Davies pitching tonight for the Royals and winning. That game's in the 5th inning. Royals trying to beat the hapless Indians. When they get good pitching, tonight it's Carl Pavano, they can't hit. When they get bad pitching, they score 8 runs. Indians off to a 1-6 start.
Happy for Kyle Davies' success too. Hope he has a big year.
Twins over the Blue Jays, 2-1. Ricky Romero, the rookie, pitching for Toronto in that game. Red Sox and A's play later on. Dice K against Dana Evelyn. A's have 4 left-handers in their rotation so far in 2009. White Sox and Tigers were canceled. Bad weather in Detroit. Yankees 2-2, top of the 8th inning. Yankees threatening to reclaim the lead. Mariners and Angels go to the bottom of the 10th inning in Seattle. Talk about topsy-turvy. Seattle, first $100 million payroll to finish in last place. Off to a 5-2 start this year.
Do you know if Ichiro's playing tonight? There was talk that he would be activated from the DL for their home opener.
Let's check the box score. See if Ichiro is active. If he is active, he was not in the lineup tonight.
Okay.
Griffey Jr. is and is 1 for 3. Andy Chavez playing right field, 2 for 4. Kelly to his right, diving stop. Fly, head first slide, paid off. He's safe. I'm of a mind that that's the worst play in baseball, a head first slide. But Amezaga fast enough to beat the rap.
Yeah, it works here, but I hate it too. Great stop by Kelly to his backhand. Nice stop. Good throw. But the diving effort by Amezaga may be the difference. It's just so dangerous. You don't have to go too far. Ask Martin Prado about that. Spent a lot of time on the disabled list last year with a dislocated thumb, strained ligaments in his thumb from such a slide.
But in Amezaga's case, that might be the only thing that can slow him down with his great speed. As Cody Ross bats for the first time. He came in the flip-flop batting order when Nunez came in a half inning ago.
Cody's off to a slow start, 2 for 22. That's one of the reasons Amezaga's in there tonight in right field. Hitting 0-91. 0-91.
Pop up shallow right. I got it. 0-2. Georgia grad, tough to count that high. 5 runs, 10 hits for the Marlins. A run, 4 hits, 2 errors for Atlanta. Braves have been held in check by Volstad tonight. See you later. Cody Ross's struggles continue. 2 out. Reds lead Milwaukee. That one 3-1. Bottom of the 5th inning. Bronson Arroyo pitching for the Reds.
I think the Reds will be much improved this year. I don't think there's any way Aaron Harang can have as tough a year again as he had last year. I like Volquez and Cueto a lot. And I like Bronson Arroyo a lot too.
Arroyo's had some injury problems. Carpal tunnel syndrome. And he's had to have a couple of shots in that pitching hand. Some of they say from playing guitar.
I was just going to say, is it from his guitar?
Yep.
He's a very talented musician, much like yourself.
Well, I mean, I can make noise, and that's about it. By the way, Arroyo, 362 consecutive starts as a professional pitcher, goes to the post tonight as the Braves come up for their last chance in the bottom of the 9th inning. get it done against closer Matt Lindstrom. They will have the big boppers coming up. Chipper Jones, Brian McCann, Garrett Anderson are all due against the Marlins' new designated closer. Kevin Gregg was the Marlins closer last year. They have since traded him to the Cubs.
He's been a little shaky too, hadn't he?
Yeah. And Lindstrom, who had some rotator cuff issues during the WBC, being brought along slowly by Freddie Gonzalez. We were chatting between innings. Why use Lindstrom here if he's not going to pitch in back-to-back games and this not a save situation?
Yeah, he hasn't pitched since Friday. Maybe that was the reason Freddie wanted him in there tonight. 66 games last year, though, as a setup guy. 3-3 with a good 3.14 ERA. He had 5 saves, 43 strikeouts in 57 innings, but also 26 walks. He can put some people on base, but throws hard.
As did Nunez. Always out of the stretch. And Chipper Jones' first pitch got jammed on a cold night. You can see Chipper put his head down as that ball got in on his hands, and he checks that left hand as he makes a right turn.
96 on that fastball that
and look at the grimace. Look at the grimace on Chipper's face.
It seemed to get out on the barrel a little bit. Not a good sign. Got a left-hander going tomorrow, and Andrew Miller. Left thumb won't bother you quite as much if it's on the bottom hand.
Here's Brian McCann. 0 for 3 is he in the series opener tonight.
Let's go, Beaver!
I talked to Chipper about that thumb at the start of that Washington series, and even after the day off and the DNP in Philadelphia, his hand was still very purple on the top part of his thumb. The palm part was still very purple, and the hand was still swollen. All of that subsided as Baker tries to make a flying save and can't.
Yeah, that webbing between the index finger and the thumb was very discolored. I'm sure that last swing by Chipper didn't help matters.
3 balls, no strikes. Braves need base runners, need a big 9th inning rally. Down 5-1. Lindstrom pumps it over.
You know, there's some guys that term easy gas. Guy has a nice, easy, fluid delivery, and then the ball's just on you. No, that's not the case with Lindstrom. He throws hard. He winds up hard. He works out of the stretch hard. It's violent.
In the air to left. Messica broke back. Now comes in. You would know better than I, but all those moving parts with Lindstrom, I would imagine it's very deceptively violent delivery too.
Can be. But everything he throws is hard. His slider's hard.
I mean, I'm just saying, trying to pick up the ball with all those moving parts.
Yeah, it's all elbows and kneecaps coming at you. And the one thing you can't do is, as a hitter, is get caught up in that and try to swing just as hard as he's throwing it.
Garrett Anderson 0 for 3, pulls 1 foul for a strike. Rough night for Garrett. A couple of errors in left. Has popped out twice and lined out once. Not much flexing in that left hand of Chipper Jones in the Braves dugout. Good changeup at 86.
Yeah, you took some off. It was 86 miles an hour. But when you throw as hard as he does, you have to anticipate the fastball, and you start a little too soon, you get beat because he can pull the string on you.
To short. Hanley Ramirez on a short hop. Marlins take over first all by themselves in the National League East. They win the series opener tonight. 5-1 tonight's final score. Excellent starting pitching from both Javi Vasquez of Atlanta and Chris Volstad of the Marlins. But the Fish hit a whole lot better. They pound out 10 hits. And the Braves went 0 for 8 with men on base in Game 1. 5-1 your final. Joe and I will recap it for you right after this.